Hello, it's Tracy. I have a scrapbook layout and process for you that I titled Peek into the Past. And this is a trip when we were in Mammoth, we drove to Bodie, California, which is a ghost town. And these are some pictures that I took. Um, that little weaving there is what I did. I watercolor painted on some of that paper that I got from my Aaron Brothers haul, and I just did some random painting and then I cut it out. The footage of that is in my previous video because I thought I was going to use it in that layout, and I end up using it here. And I have this video. When I was taking the video, it was more in frame, but then when it converts it, sometimes it shrinks the frame. So, at least I think I was, but anyway, so I apologize. Some of it's going to be out of frame at the bottom there, unfortunately. And I'm doing like a grid pattern here. And I cut out a bunch of different squares. Those are all papers from the Studio Calico kit. And they're mostly Studio Calico Atlantic papers, I think. There's my head. And I just use the ruler to make sure the top is at least, somewhat even so I don't end up with a completely crooked grid. Oh, that heart at the bottom, that's a Maggie Holmes paper. And that's a picture of my daughter peeking in the window of one of the buildings. And the one at the top that I go with is a close-up of one of their street signs, which is like tar, stuck together to make the names of the streets. I thought that was cool. And then I have a close-up of that Bodie Hotel open, I can't remember, meals at all hours. Because I liked that picture specifically for this because it said Bodie. And then the page to the right is going to be one of those pages that has different pictures. I actually have already done it. Here I am trying to figure out what to map these with, and I was going to do black, but that was just too stark, so I went with brown, a dark brown, and I had that brown is from a book I have, a DCWV book of solid cardstock, different neutrals. And so anyway, I'm going to I put her picture up on foam dots because or foam squares, because I want that picture to be sort of the feature picture of the layout. And here I'm gonna outline first the inner grid with gold, and then I'm going to outline the entire page in the gold. And I chose gold because it seems to go more with these colors, especially the background. It just felt like it should be gold, not a silver. And I just am loving that gold. Looks just so pretty, especially on the craft. It just makes that craft look more elegant than, craft can tend to have that sort of dullness to it or whatever, and it just makes it, I really like it. I'm definitely going to be doing that again. And then because I outlined in gold, I realized, I want to do gold pieces around the layout and sort of stick with the gold theme. And I like that juxtaposition of the gold with the oldness of the town. The gold is shiny and pretty, and the town is old, but it's still, even though it's old and everything's antique and dusty, it's just one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. I mean, it's a true ghost town. And so, obviously, and it's preserved. It's a national park, and so they've preserved it. And I apologize, I don't remember the year. When they realized, we need to preserve this. It did get let go for a lot of years, and just sort of a lot of it sort of fell apart. I mean, just from weather and whatnot. But then they started to preserve it and try and keep it where they had it when they first started to preserve it. They only, when they do this preserving, they only use the products that they would have had back then. And I mean, it's neat because you really feel like you're getting a peek into the past, which I used peek instead of glimpse because my little daughter, she's peeking into that window. I think that's so cute. And usually, you say a glimpse into the past, but because I just like that picture of her peeking in there. And then I used gold thickers there. Those are sentiment foil thickers in gold. And then I used the wood Studio Calico veneers for the word A and for the word into the words into the, and I wanted that specifically, that old stained wood again with the shiny gold, and I like the way that came out. And now I'm using the leftover strips of that watercolored paper, or it's almost like a fabric, but it's not a fabric either. It's really quite in between the two. And I'm going to layer them like I would washi tape, actually. And then I do put one strip up at the top so that I have it sort of in 3 places, the watercolor paper. This takes me a while. Those wood veneer letters are difficult, and I started with glossy accents because that's what I love to do, to stick down the wood veneers usually. I don't know where I first got that idea, somewhere here on YouTube, and it's a great way to stick them down. But then because they're so thin, I was really having trouble, and I didn't want it to be all shiny, so I switched to my Aleene's tacky glue, and that worked out really good. Also, it was hard to get them to stick down to that watercolor paper fabric stuff, but the tacky glue worked great. It stuck right down. I'm totally sorry the bottom is not in view. I don't know. And here I'm deciding, do I want to use all 3 of those little gold paper clips with the fabric. Those came in the Studio Calico kit, and I only end up using 2. And then I realized that doilies would be really nice for this layout, since they have sort of an old-fashioned feeling to me when I think of doilies. And so I do end up putting 3, one with each cluster basically. And I don't go wild with my clusters since I did this grid pattern on the paper. It's already, kind of has a lot going on. And so I sort of have some sort of toned down, although I'm going to be adding glitter, sequins, which is not toned down, but that left paper clip with the blue fabric, that one I take off because I just don't feel right about the blue. It's not going. And then I have that label sticker, or label die cut piece there. That's from my stash. And then the little tab there, that's from the Studio Calico kit, the tiny blue one with the word on top, and then the word, it says recorded, and that's from an old Studio Calico kit. I think it's from April. It's My Mind's Eye letter stickers. Okay, and right now, oh, it's out of film, I'm sorry, but I don't end up using it, so it's all good. This video definitely cut off the bottom of, I don't know why it did that. It changes it like digitally, and sometimes you lose pieces. It changes the shape of it. Anyway, I'm trying to fiddle with that twine, thinking I'm going to get that to go on the page, but I don't. I don't end up using it. I do use that up there. Now I'm feeling good about that. And I use a pop-up dot on that recorded. And here's a brad from the kit. I will show close-ups of the bottom when I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing here. Probably looking through my labels and such. And I was, shifting and playing and figuring out where do I want that weaved little embellishment that I made. How did I want that to go? And now I finally glued it down. And now I'm working around that area, which I'm so frustrated that it's out of the view. I'm so sorry. And those little stars came from the kit. I love those. Really, really like them. They're so cute. I end up using... I don't have the layout in front of me, which is silly because I usually do when I do these voiceovers. I believe I end up using one star in each cluster. And I use brads in each cluster. And one brad. And then I use glitter in each cluster. There. And now I have a heart wood veneer that I got from Etsy, and I start playing around with that. What do I want? And I do go with it with the heart on top. And then on the left cluster, that there's a little cabochon that is roses. That came from the kit as well. And then that little flag, "You Are My Sunshine," I believe it says, with the brad, that came from the kit. And then the little sticker label, that is from my stash. And now I'm gluing down the glitter with glossy accents. And gluing down the star onto the wood veneer. That I use Aleene's tacky glue because that is really shiny plastic. The star, it's like a cabochon material. I guess you could call it a cabochon star, actually, now I think about it. And let's see, now I'm just cutting off my edges that stick off the page. And I think that's it. Oh, I'm putting a brad in that last cluster because I realize it's missing a brad. And I do look at it for a while, trying to figure out, am I done? And then, yep, I decide I'm done. So that's that cluster that was out of view. peek into the past. And there's that cluster that was also out of view. I did ink that star, sort of a apricot, Hero Arts. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.